So, bear with me, guys. While I'm doing this, if there's anybody dead space communication, anybody else want to comment about scrimmages, feel free while I get this pulled up.
Just remember, we got to have our one scrimmage fulfillment to officiate the season. So if you are open Thursday, try to do your best to make it out. I mean, I know the future's still up in the air, and these games are for sure going to happen on Thursday. So just try your best to make it out. Gabriel Montiel, did you mean to raise your hand? If you want to type in the comments a question or come
You
on the
can't
mic.
type in the comments here. I've been looking, but it doesn't look like
There's no comment section.
Oh, yeah, I don't see a chat box either. Did you have a question?
I did. So if we're not assigned a scrimmage, can we still get assigned one, or is that going to be something that's coming in the next round for us? If we don't have
No,
it.
of course. Yeah, just email Rudy Bai. He's the scrimmage coordinator, and he can get you filled in one of those scrimmages.
All right, cool.
They're still publishing scrimmages, so just be patient on that. Okay, let me share. Don Robertson, you had a question too. I saw your hand raised a little bit ago. No, is it gone?
Yeah, I was just wondering where the chat was because we can't provide any feedback if there's no chat. That's all.
Huh. I don't know.
I think that's on your end, Eric, because I don't have any options to make a chat box.
Yeah, you can provide feedback. Just raise your hand and ask a question.
Yeah, that'll be fine.
Great idea.
That'll be fine. Okay, so let me go ahead and start sharing this huddle. And we're going to start with Dave, we'll start with your play 63.
Perfect.
Then we'll roll into some of Thaddeus's plays that he chose. And primarily, folks, we're going to be talking about deep wings. We're going to talk about some transition. We'll talk a little about forward progress. We'll talk a little bit about some kickoff, first touching. So bear with us as we work through this. As you know, this is trying to be as interactive as possible. So keep in mind, we've got our capped, communication, appearance, pre, post, and dead ball. So as we start to talk about these today, we're going to try to keep that in mind as we start with communication, appearance, pre, post, dead ball. All right, so this one here going forward, you did receive these in your huddle. So if it's choppy, you can at least reference this on your own computer or go back and listen at the recast. Okay, here we go. Go ahead, Dave. It's all you, man.
Yeah, let's let this one play out one time and see what we got. See if y'all pick up anything off the bat, and we'll talk about it. Second run around. Alrighty, we'll go back to the beginning there. It is really choppy, so if y'all do have access to bring up huddle on your side, I would recommend you do that. Eric, if you want to pause it right before the snap happens. All right, let's just talk about some keys here. I'm sure everybody can see the formation we're in right now. So we're just going to balance twins formation. So our deep wings will have the F on the top, F on the top is going to pick up the number 1. S on the bottom, number 1. Since we are in a balanced formation, the B is going to pick up the number 2 receiver to the line judge side, which is going to be on our left. Line judge, this happened to be in the first half, so line judge will be on the left side. So back judge will pick up the number 2 on the top of the screen. Our head lineman is going to pick up the 2 on the bottom of the screen, and our line judge will pick up the back opposite side of the quarterback to him. So let's run it through real quick. Follow your keys, deep wing. We're going to be focusing on the bottom of the screen. So our number 1 receiver ran a little hitch route, and our number 2 receiver ran a corner route. So when we're talking about keys, what's going to happen here is the number 1 and your deep wing is going to pick up the number 2 once he kind of comes into your zone in front of your face. And once you see that ball come in the air, you can tell your receiver that ran the hitch route is not threatened. So eyes kind of shift to this number 2 where the ball is being thrown. S kind of has the best angle right here. And we have a foul around the 42-yard line, a foul for a DPI. As you can see, if you pause it right there, we have 3 flags come in. So we have a flag from the H, we have a flag from the S, and a flag from the B. But if you play it a little bit more, Eric, we're going to keep on watching a little bit. And right in the middle of the field, we see a yellow marker. We have a flag come in from the opposite deep wing. So we have 4 flags on this play. Not a very good look because that kind of shows that 4 sets of eyes, 8 eyes total, were on this one play. We got to make sure our eyes on our keys, watching any dead ball action. So right here, we did have a DPI at the 42-yard line. So if we snap the ball, from the 37 on team A side of the field. So that's going to be 21 yards. So for enforcement, we're going to go 15 yards from the previous spot, first down. And let's talk about who should have had this call. I told y'all again that S should pick up that number 2 once he breaks on his corner route and he's running upfield. So S should have the first foul on the play. And for me personally, if I was lined up as a back judge, I probably would have thrown this too, because you have a right on angle with the play. You can see the backside of it happening and the defender jumping basically through the receiver. And Eric, if you're the H right here, would you throw your flag, or are you just going to kind of wait, see if anybody picks it up, and then go from there if you really have something? Because I think 2 flags is good on this play. I don't think the H needs to throw his, and especially not the F on the opposite side of the. Any comments, questions, concerns about this play? No? Okay.
All right. I was on mute. So, I don't know. You guys are all going to have to go back and take a look at this. But if you look at it in real speed, and Brett, I know you're on, so hopefully I think I put you in there. But, I don't – real speed, it tells me that this receiver really wasn't affected. If I look at it just from going and not touching it. Would I potentially throw on it from a line of scrimmage? I don't think so. I still have my guy at the bottom of the screen. Yes, I'm man zone ball. So I'm flowing that way, but I don't necessarily know if I'm going to get that action. I may be able to provide some input, and if there's some wishy-washy on the input, fine. But I don't necessarily see this receiver being grabbed. I mean, do you know what was the DPI category that you used?
Say that again.
What was the foul code that you used for DPI?
So we
GNR?
had a grab and restrict on this play. You can see on the right-handed defender was on his waist. And this play was a while ago, but I'm pretty sure that we talked about it, and we came back and we had a grab and restrict on this one, kind of preventing him to jump. If you look at that right hand on the defender's hit or on the offensive player's hit.
Okay. All right.
And last but not least, let's make sure we stack our flags on the play so we know what spot we're going to enforce the penalty from, just so we're all on the same page. So make sure we get players on their respective sides of the field, stack our flags, and we can talk about it.
I was going to make a quick comment. I'm surprised the umpire didn't throw on this too, but please, unless it's a safety foul, if this is a targeting, or if this is blindside block with targeting, or if this is something else and you see it from across the field, I mean, fine. But all the way across the side, we got 3 officials already on it. We don't need a me too because you're late. You already see what's going on.
We can move on to play 112 if nobody has anything.
Yeah, David, let me interject something real quick if I can. Can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Okay. Go back to that shot where they're both kind of in the air for a second. Because obviously looking at it from here, it's hard to tell really where his hand is. Somebody said it was on his waist or something, but is he grabbing his waist? Is he touching his waist? Because if you look at the clip when the ball goes by, they're both looking at the ball. Go ahead and shoot that again. I know it's a difficult call. It really is. And again, you're looking at it real speed. Yeah, right there, right there, right there. So you can't tell. I can't tell from this view. And I'm sure these 2 wing guys can't because of where his right hand is.
That's right.
You know, is he grabbing his shirt? Is he just touching his back? Nobody really knows at that point except the offside officials and maybe the umpire. So that's a tough call right there because if you look at it, both of them are looking back at the ball. Both of them have their hands up. So that is a tough call. But, again, I can't see the back of him. So I don't know if he's grabbed his shirt, hasn't grabbed his shirt, did something back there to impede him, to get to the ball. But anyway, go ahead.
I think the best view on that would be the back judge. Would you just not think?
Absolutely. That's right. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because nobody's really got a better view, than the back judge on that play. And there you go. The ball's gone through. So anyway, I just wanted to throw my 2 cents in.
Maybe the F thought he had the best view also.
Yeah.
It might have been a
It's possible
question.
that F could have saw it.
Might have
Depends
been a
how deep he
question.
was. It depends on the angles, right? If that
Yep.
if that F is deep, then he may be able to see that right arm coming through.
Yeah.
It's fine, but that's certainly, if you go back and you look at this from the very beginning, this is straight transition across all of our officials. I mean, the back judge is at the top, is the second receiver up here, and this is the short wing. So this is a transition, getting your eyes where it seems the back judge is reading the quarterback's eyes, and he starts to cross his face. So. All right.
Well, if it was wrong, at least you had 3 flags on it, so it sold it like they all knew what they were looking
Oh, it's
at.
a salt picture. I thought it was a light bulb. I was like,
Yeah, it definitely got sold.
Yeah. Do we want to move on to play 112?
Yeah, I'm on it. Okay, so go ahead and set this one up.
Let me pull it up from my end real quick. All right,
112.
let's. We'll run it through.
The keys have switched. The H is now, it's the second half, so the H is at the top of the screen with the S. So go ahead, David.
Yeah, so we'll run this one through one time. Y'all can get a look at the play, and then we'll talk about it again. All right, we'll go to the, okay, so we'll pause it right here. Let's talk about key on the top of the screen. So your deep wing is gonna pick him up. And as soon as he goes in motion, your deep wing is gonna transition. The number 2 is not gonna become the number 1. And the H is gonna stay with that man in motion. And your deep wing on the opposite, on the bottom of the screen is going to have number 1, line judge number 2. I'm sorry. I'm getting confused with my keys here.
You're right.
Your back,
You're right.
well, the back will have the number 2,
No,
correct?
no, the back judge will have 3. Line of scrimmage will have 2.
There you go.
Correct. And the H will have the running back back there.
H is going to pick up the running back once they get set right here. So we're going to be looking at the number 1 receiver on the top up here. If you want to play it through, and we're going to have a good look at what's happening.
Well, let's talk about transition before we get to that point, okay? All right. So
Are we gonna say
running
something,
back's
Coach?
in the backfield. He's with the H at the top of the screen. As we start to roll through this, you know, outside guys with the deep, running back is now starting to move downfield. It maybe zone this up a little bit. We got everybody going deep. No offensive lineman is threatening the line of scrimmage. So we can move from the line of scrimmage standpoint. We can now start to really help going downfield. So go ahead, David. I'll let you take it from there.
Yeah, so me personally, I'm going to stick with my key right here. Since stay with his key. But as soon as I realize that my key is not threatening, that ball is thrown to the H's key, my eyes are going to drift to the receiver right in front of me. So I know it's hard if you don't have a huddle opened up on your own screen, but we have a real close play here, and ball's in the air maybe directly above the players, and there's no contact. Defender has his hand in the air, kind of face guarding the offensive player. Remember, we don't have a foul for face guarding, no such thing. So he can have his hand wherever he wants as long as there's no contact right there. But as we play the play a little bit more, the ball is going to cross their faces, and the defender then comes down on the offensive player once the ball's uncatchable. So I wouldn't have a flag right here. The ball is uncatchable once the contact is made. You might have players or coaches getting upset, but you just got to explain to them the ball's uncatchable. No flag on this play. Anybody else got anything for this one?
You know, the other part of this is you might be able to say they got their feet tangled as to another reason why. I mean, the receiver got lost a little bit. The defender was in good position. You got to be careful as a deep about where this ball lands, because this ball actually lands in the field of play. And the ball is right here. Not too terribly far. And had they not gotten their feet tangled up, it might have been a different story. So that might be a communication with the coaches, is really talking about, coach, their feet, and let him back off, because he's probably wanting a DPI. He wants him pushing the back. He wants him playing through the back there. So, you know, one thing that you can really provide feedback on is that contact.
Unless somebody has a question, I don't have anything else with this play. I don't want to take too much more time so Thaddeus can share his. So we have a parent in the game right here. We have an apparent onside kick. So let's just remember our pre-snap routine. We're in a short kick kind of formation here. Short kick mechanics, I'm sorry, with our 7-man crew. So our L is going to come up, deep wing on the 50. So just remember your pre-snap routine. Make sure everybody has a beanbag in hand. Thinking what you're watching for, what you're looking for. That 50-yard line is important. So we'll let this one run through. So it happens right in front of the S space right there. The offensive player for White, Team A, touches the ball at the 49, about the 49 and a half. So what we're going to do here is we're going to have a beanbag thrown on where he touched it, where he illegally touched it. And if you look real carefully, the Team A player is now out of bounds while touching the ball. So let's make sure. What was that?
You should have a flag. It's a free kick out of bounds.
So let's look at this again. The Team A player, while in bounds, illegally touches the ball. So there's no flag on this for illegal touching. We're going to have our beanbag to come back to that spot.
That's not what I'm saying. Ball was touched by A, wasn't touched by B. He's out of bounds when he touches it. By rule, that is a free kick out of bounds. You can have the beanbag down, but you should also have a flag. Because now Team B can get a 5-yard penalty and add on to the end of that.
So on this play,
Yes.
On this play, I don't remember anybody having a flag, and not the best film. So maybe he wasn't out of bounds. I don't see a flag here.
Quick clarification. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so if Team A is in bounds, touches the ball, and then looks like he tried to make an attempt to recover, but then he steps out of bounds and touches the ball, would that still warrant a flag?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
I got the ball right here. I don't know where the guy was out of bounds, but you're right. I mean, if he's out of bounds, it's a kick out of bounds. It's still the option for the receiving team to choose what they want to do.
So let's say no flag. I don't see a flag, so let's assume that this official was on top of it. No flag. Let's just make sure we see that it's where the ball is, not the player, when we have an illegal touching with this restraining line. So we're going to come back to the 49-yard line right there, assuming we have no flag.
Hey, let's talk a little bit more about the particular role that might be able to help with this. Get some clean film here. From a sideline management, it's late in the game. Players, I mean, it's Abilene, so this might even be a playoff game. I don't know. But sideline management, even late in the game, It's really going to help you. You got a coach standing right here behind this official. We got to back that guy out. We got to get him out of the way. Your toes probably on the back of the white. I mean, even your heels are there, which is fine. But just to give you that little extra room to push these guys back, it's going to help you. It gets really tight and it gets pucker factor, especially when you're trying to back up. And if you had already given yourself another half step, maybe you don't have to back up. Maybe you don't feel that you need to. You can keep your eyes where it is, and if there's a player out of bounds, fine, because you got first touching there. But here, he can clearly see if there is a player out of bounds to be able to help. I mean, that's what he does on a normal kickoff. He's got the kick out of bounds. So he can rule right here if he's out of bounds as well. If you want to turn your hip. So now you're facing the play instead of just turning your head. 2 eyes are better than 1. So just some other viewpoints there, guys.
Can I get a quick clarification on this play then? So after the kick, if there is kick catching interference at the 49 and White did not step out of bounds, but ultimately the ball goes out of bounds, do we just have the KCI at the 49 or 49 and a half? Does it matter that the ball ends up out of bounds anyway? Would there be a
There
flag
was no
either way?
KCI. There was no KCI.
Yeah, because the ball hit the
Or I
ground.
mean, I'm sorry, not KCI.
Illegal
First touching.
Illegal touching. That's it. I'm sorry.
Illegal touching is if it goes out of bounds before Team B touches the ball, we're going to have a foul for free kick out of bounds. So since the Team A player touched it and then it went out of bounds, that would, if then it went out of bounds, then that would constitute a flag on the play.
So there's going to be a flag on this, or there should be a flag on this either way, because it ultimately goes out of bounds without it being recovered. Correct?
If that was the case, correct. If they declared the ball out of bounds without Team B touching it, there should be a flag.
Okay.
Because I can't tell in this particular play if this guy here at the top of the screen actually touches the ball or not.
And I can't tell either, and the play ends real quick after.
The ball's rolling out there, so
So you get some real clarification there.
all right, guys, while I'm doing this, is there any other comments from the gunslingers they want to add before we switch? Look at something else? No? All right, cool. Thaddeus.
Okay, so we're looking at play 64, and this is just a guys, having a patient whistle. And it runs much better when you're looking at it, but if you notice, go ahead and run it. And in the game, I mean, it just ran perfect. The receiver just rolled right over the top of the defenders, kept going. Nobody blew the whistle, no inverting whistle, and here we are sprinting to the goal line.
It's kind of that term, hold your water.
Correct. Yeah.
Hold your whistle, hold your water. Don't be in a rush. And Thaddeus, you worked this game. I worked this game. Brett was here in the middle. So, line of scrimmage is at the 17. I really even haven't moved yet. I'm not saying that's right or wrong, but it's a short pass that's caught right at almost the line of scrimmage. So I haven't moved. And in my mind, okay, he's going to be tackled. He's going to be tackled, but I don't need to go anywhere because we're still only 5 yards from the original line of scrimmage. You can officiate from this point 5 yards downfield. You don't need to be in a rush to get down the field for this spot. Okay? The whistle is hanging. I don't wear it in my mouth, so I got lucky there. But it's just hanging. And once I see that he runs over the top, the deeps, Thaddeus, you don't use your whistle. Brett, I never hear Brett use his whistle. And this particular play, this was Kevin Brown's first big ball game. So he had his whistle in his pocket because he didn't want to blow it at all. So, it just worked out that he landed on his feet and we were just moving along.
Yeah, but you can see the wing the other side. He starts to pull up because he's thinking he's about to get. And then once he realizes that he's not, then it's a sprint to the end zone.
This is
Anybody
Brett.
got a question on this play?
This is Sean Anderson here. That wasn't Brett. That's Sean Anderson.
Yeah, Sean. Yeah, I'm on that's me on the left side, and that's Ken on the right side. No, actually, this is the wing now coming up on that side. The other goal, both deep wings are already at the goal line.
That's correct.
Yep.
Here's a shadow.
Any questions on that play? Okay, so let's go to play. Go ahead and hit the next play. Now, I don't know if any of y'all were on the deep wings tassel mechanics, and they tell you, hey guys, play your 20, but sometimes you may have to get ready to play deeper depending on your age or whatever. So they throw a pass in the slot. In my mind, I'm thinking this guy could break it. And of course he breaks it, and there you go. That's me down there. Now you get a better view on the second one. Right, you can see where we're at, and right, they're on the 18. He catches it, I say, and I'm at the 50 because I'm thinking this guy's gonna break this. And right, there's nobody on the sideline. And so as he goes, I'm peeking back, running, making sure he's staying in bounds. And of course, us older, heavier guys, we got to start pulling up a little bit sooner so we don't tear nothing when we get to the goal line. But that's just a play, when they're passing, I always tell my other wing, I say, anticipate them breaking the play. So if they're on the 20, anticipate an 80-yard touchdown. So get yourself physically ready to go. Any questions on that one?
And we even got the trails coming up on the sides here. So, the umpire and the R, they're the ones that are doing a lot of the cleanup on the backside. So, yeah, that's good.
Okay, here's another one. Hit the next one is play 121. Now, again, we're on the 32. Eagle pass, and, you're not really not anticipating, but, of course, they launch it, and bam, 30, long pass. He reaches out, one-hander. And, again, it's kind of trying to anticipate it. You get a better view here. I mean, he just reached it out and just – he thought he was going to miss it, and he caught it.
What I saw about this play that I also appreciated, and it's something that as younger officials you'll start to realize, is that the play and the catch is important. And if you look at Lonnie on this particular play and Thaddeus, they both slow down just for a second just to make sure that he catches that ball. Maybe was it surprising or was it instinct? I don't know, but they both slowed down just enough. They got both of them had a little stutter step to be able to confirm that they did catch that ball. And as deep officials, you want to slow yourself down just enough to make sure the ball is caught.
Okay, next play, we're still, I think we only got 2 left. Go ahead, hit the next one. This is should have been a DPI, Again, you're seeing it much better if you actually can get to play, but you'll notice the, go ahead and he's running it. The defender, he starts to make the tackle before he even has the ball. We have no flag. Who has the best view? Probably that deep wing on the other side. You know, the wing comes in kind of signaling, but was he with the play the whole time? Probably not.
Let's talk about keys for a second. This is late in the game, so the line judge and the field judge should be at the bottom of the screen. Right now, this is field judge, and this is back judge, H. No, this is L, H, S. All right. So we do have some motion. Does it affect the keys? Ball, yes. Keys are now affected. So we had a switch between the F and the B.
And as you can see, whatever happened, you know, we just lose it. And
Question on this one. So when I saw this before, like the meeting, I saw the defender who was trailing the quarterback. Is it possible that he got a hand on that, which kind of made that ball look like a duck? I mean, it got to the receiver where it was intended, but it looked like we had a defender's paw get on that ball before, right after it gets out of the quarterback's hand. So does that change the DPI to?
well, of course, yes, it would. You know, and then we got to get together. But of course, you see no tip. You don't see anybody signaling. The ump's not signaling tip. So you know that's the key. But again, we have no flag, so we can't even. There's even no discussion on this because there's no flag at all. So
What should have been the discussion, Thaddeus?
it could have been, like you said, was it tipped? But you know. Because, hey, I think he got there early. But, again, I'm on the other side. I'm not looking over there. I like to stay on my side of the field. But, you know, this deep wing and the short wing probably should have talked about it. And, of course, we talk about it after the game. You know, we'll get the plays together and discuss stuff and, you know.
I mean, this is the back judge's key. The field judge is being taken to the corner of the end zone. So the field judge isn't really looking at that point until the ball is essentially in the air. So hopefully he can transition at that point to see that. But that's still a nice wide view for the back judge to see that contact and be able to piece it together between these two and maybe this guy over here to figure out, oh, yeah, he was early. We got to tackle. We got to grab and restrict, playing through the back.
And just to go further into Gabriel's question, I don't think we fully answered it. So if the ball is tipped by a Team B player, maybe at the line of scrimmage or later on down the field, and contact with the maybe defensive back and the receiver happen, no, there can't be any sort of defensive holding or defensive passing interference or offensive passing interference once that Team B player tips the ball.
Go ahead to the next one, Eric, unless we have any questions.
I don't have a question. I just had an interesting scenario. Yes, David, that's true. But reverse it. Say Team A hits a Team A player, and then or is it or is there no flag?
No, he just said it. David mentioned in there if it's tipped by A or B.
But if it's tipped by A, then you still have pass interference because it's not an intentional tip. If it's intentional, then you have a different then you'd have a different foul. But if the pass is thrown and it bounces off a tackle and team A tackles head, and now it's wobbly, and this guy comes in and tackles the intended receiver before the ball gets there, that is still pass interference because it was not intentionally touched.
Correct.
Just a good what if.
Oh yeah, good point, Joe. A good question.
Go ahead, Eric, to the next one. This is just on the goal line, about 4 or 5 feet off. Play comes that way. Get a good view. It's the pile on, got our touchdown. Okay, last one.
Let's back up just a little bit, talk about, let me get to this wide angle here. So H is at the bottom, still in the first half. I don't see a media dotted line on this field, but as a line of scrimmage, hello. I think y'all should start to be deeper. Start to get in the habit, especially in this kind of stadium where it's a little tighter. You might want to start to work your way back, especially just for that instance as a line of scrimmage guy, trying to work the pylon. The deeps are deep, you can tell in this particular play, which is good, but I think the line of scrimmage guys need to back up just a little bit more because you start to watch this play develop. The line of scrimmage down at the bottom, he realizes it, and then he gets himself wide at the very end. So I think if you start wider out here, you don't have to worry about getting deep at the end of the play, and you're able to communicate. You know, the flip side is if you stay on this line, especially on this particular play, maybe you open yourself up, be able to say, hey, his foot was out, his foot was in, to help give some more information as that guy's diving into the line. So, you know, he's in good position here. He realizes, okay, he leaps from inbounds. But then he starts to work himself wide. I think you can do both if you just do a little deeper and just turn your hips like he did there at the end and just focus on where his feet are.
Hey, quick question. Shouldn't the H have the goal line in that play?
No.
Or is it too far out?
So line of scrimmage guys.
When does the LOS have goal line?
The line of scrimmage are pushing the deeps to the end line at 7 yards.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
I mean, the key for this, for all you deeps, if you look at Thaddeus where he's at, you can't get any better position than that. Because initially in the frame, you can't even see him. So, I mean, he is where he's supposed to be for a play like that.
That's right. He's not even, I mean, he does take a step back because he feels the pressure. As a safety precaution, and if you've worked with me in the past, you know I kick the heck out of these markers. These markers don't even exist when I'm working a sideline. They are against the wall. They're behind the dotted lines. They're not anywhere near there. Just so that if I have to back up, I'm not tripping over it. Because y'all have seen on YouTube, you've seen that I fell over these things once in a while. So I try to make sure they're out of the way. And he kind of gets tangled up in it. So now his concentration may be just a little bit off because you got to make sure his feet are under him.
I'm in a meeting.
Time for the meeting? Yep. All right. Hey, guys, just a heads up. Here's the Camelback. I do have a Hunchback, but the Camelback does fit under the shirt. So that way you can carry your own water. Okay? Hey, we'll see you in a little bit. Thanks for coming.